Can you hear me? Can I be heard? Yo, I better be able to be heard. Otherwise, I'm going to fucking shoot someone. You still there, Snake? You should be. Is reacting time. Let's go! Fuck yeah. Okay, yeah, so fun story. I had to completely remake my entire streaming setup because, you know, well, that's a story for when I install Linux. Yeah. Yeah, I am recording. YouTube can, like, suck me. Why are you taking so long to start? Because I take my time. Latin Rasputin. I take my time. No, in reality, it's because I have a shit ton of, like, stuff that I have to set up, you know? And it's like, it's just so fucking annoying. Fucking hate it. It's like, I have to. Oh, fuck. Oh, OBS fucked up. OBS fucked up. OBS got fucked up. OBS got fucked up. You're audible. Oof. The partition situation? Yep. So, I didn't back up any of my, like, OBS related files. So, I lost the entire thing. So I had to, like, remake it again. Why? Okay, so now I am facing fucking issues with OBS. It's just being a bitch. I fucking hate it. It's like, go fuck yourself. How's that sound? Huh? How's that sound? Okay. Great. Whoa! Do you guys see me? Hey yo. Okay. Alright. So today I'm going to be reacting to Snake. Reacting to the Mozart and Sussmayr Requiem. Fun fact, no, was originally going to join my stream, but it didn't work out due to scheduling problems. That is indeed true. And it also doesn't help that around the time that Snake was going to stream, I had my whole situation with my computer happen. So, yeah. Shit happens. But yeah. Now we're gonna start. And by the way, I am dual streaming, so everyone can watch it whenever you want. Also, Snake, you took like 5 minutes to start, and there was no music, no sound, no anything.
All right, hello everyone.
Oh shit, fuck.
Yes. Okay. I believe we are now live. Hello.
Okay.
Yes. So, as you saw by the title of
also,
this stream,
by the way, Snake
today
sounds
I'm going
nothing
to be reacting
how I
to
expected him to sound.
Mozart and Sussmayr's Requiem, one of the greatest works of in all of classical music, in my opinion. You know, some people might say it's overrated because it's so well known, especially
it's not
a few movements that we will get to, but
yes.
I think it's really
also, like, there's a serious amount of people who have never heard the Requiem, like, entirely. They only know the Dies Irae. and they know Lacrimosa, and that's about it. And that's it. Now you haven't heard like all of the other movements. If you haven't, fucking do so. Okay? It's a good piece of music.
Well known for a reason. Just the amount of um just like everything that went into it, and also some of the lore behind it, which I will go into in a moment. Before we start, I do want to check that the Streamlabs chatbot is working, because it previously was not. And I don't know why Streamlabs decided to make it not work. But it is working now. So, yes, if you want to participate in chat, then just be sure to subscribe. The moment you subscribe, you will gain access. It's free, helps me out a ton, and you can always change your mind later. Okay, so the first thing I want to address here is why do I call this Mozart and Sussmayr's Requiem
Yeah,
instead
it's gonna
of
be
just
fun.
Mozart's Requiem? Because most people attribute the Requiem to Mozart.
Yes.
The thing is, Mozart actually died.
Indeed, he
Mozart
did.
died while writing the Requiem. I probably shouldn't be laughing about that, but Mozart died while
Death
writing
is
the Requiem,
fun.
and a whole bunch of it was actually unfinished. So, if I remember some of the stuff I read correctly while doing my preliminary research, he had only done like the first 12 measures of the Lacrimosa. The introit was pretty much complete.
Yes.
But he had only written part of the Dies Irae,
No.
and I think in some of the later parts of the mass.
He actually finished many of the he finished the core of many of the movements. They're just completely lacking in like the rest of the arrangement. Like for example, the Dies Irae that he mentions, um, there's pretty much in Mozart's version you only have like the four voices. Then you have the violin, which is incomplete at some parts, and the bass, like the cello, the basso continuo. Um, so yeah, the one of the ones that he did not finish at all was precisely the Lacrimosa, which I like. It just stops, like just dead on its tracks. Yeah.
There were also some movements where they were just like incomplete. I think for one of them, Mozart had only written some of the choral parts
Yeah.
and the bass part.
Yeah,
So
that's a lot of them.
After Mozart died, the Requiem was commissioned by someone.
Yes.
I believe it was commissioned by an aristocrat.
Indeed, it was. It was
And
a
Mozart's
count.
widow.
It was a count. It was like Franz von something. I don't remember his name.
Needed to collect on that commission because obviously, she had a living that she needed to make.
Indeed.
And the breadwinner of the house was now fucking dead.
Yeah.
Way too soon as well.
Very fun.
If you've ever listened to Mozart's Fantasia in D minor, yeah, it really makes me wish that if Mozart had lived to like he died at 35 or something around that point, which is like way too soon. If he had lived to his like 60s or something like that, which I don't think was too unheard of even back then, he absolutely would have lived to see the Romantic period, and I would have loved to see how his music would have changed had that happened, because
that would actually be like a very interesting thing. Because like Mozart is considered like the primary like composer like the classical period. Like when you think of classical music, you think of Mozart. He's by excellence the composer of the classical period. So it would have been very interesting to see what he could have done um in the Romantic period.
Um, we didn't get until deep into the Romantic period when we started seeing like Chopin and Liszt and whatnot.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the Romantic period is my favorite of the 5 periods of Western classical music, hands down.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I
I
remembered
went off
that.
on a tangent. Um,
It's very hard to pick a
Mozart's widow
period.
needed to collect on the commission, and she looked
Yes.
around for a whole bunch of people who could finish the Requiem to actually have it shipped out.
Mm-hmm.
And it eventually came down to Franz Xaver Sussmayr, who I need to look into more of his solo works, I must admit.
Same,
But
actually.
I mean, also a fairly accomplished composer in his own right, and he was one of Mozart's students.
Indeed.
So that's how Mozart's widow ultimately appointed him to finish the Requiem.
Yeah, there
And I
actually
believe
was one guy before, but he left pretty early. I don't remember his name though.
most of what we will be hearing today will actually be Sussmayer's work. Um,
Yeah, he did
and
a lot of the
this is
original.
partly because of my limited knowledge of the classical period, but
He also
also
had to
like
complete
if
the Lacrimosa.
when I listen to this whole thing, um, it's really hard for me to tell what actually is Sussmayer's work as opposed to Mozart. So I think
Yeah,
he did a really good
you can
job,
find
and
it
generally it
online.
also captures the feeling of what a requiem is supposed to be.
Indeed.
A requiem is Latin for eternal rest.
Well, it's
Which is
Latin
what I
for
allude
rest. It's Requiem aeternum, which is eternal rest, where aeternum is eternity.
to in the thumbnail. So a requiem is supposed to be a funeral mass, and the
Indeed.
aristocrat who commissioned it, um, it was commissioned because like him or somebody close to him had passed away.
It was
So
actually for, if I remember correctly, it was for the anniversary of his wife's death. So yeah.
that's why this requiem was ultimately commissioned in the first place, and I think a lot of what led it to sort of go down as one of the most well-known works from the classical period today is partly because of that whole story of how Mozart died while writing it.
Yeah.
It was almost like his own send-off in a way, as
Yeah.
will
And like also it was if I remember correctly, it was Constanza or Constance or something. Who's yeah, she popularized a lot in the myth behind the Requiem, you know, that Mozart had been commissioned by some mysterious man, and that he came to believe that he was writing the Requiem for himself. So she helped to spread out that story a lot to help, you know, have it gain popularity. Um, Snake's limited knowledge of classical pales in comparison to my very limited knowledge of classical. Well, yeah, he did his job, like, you know, researching before doing this whole thing. So don't feel bad.
also hear in some of the movements, and then Sussmayr was appointed to pick up the pieces. So that's where we're at. I'm gonna stop talking now, and I'm gonna stop giving the background. I must admit that I have not looked at the sheets for any of the movements here. Number one,
Yeah, sure.
because I'm still not entirely literate in standard notation.
What?
Like I can't read it instantly, so it would take me like hours to study it. And number two,
Dude,
I'm
come on.
even though I'm talking about this from the perspective of a classically trained composer, um, I'm really more focusing on not how the music is made here, but how it makes the listener feel. Because
Well, I like both.
I feel like that translates best and most accessibly to those who are not rigorously trained in music like I am.
Like I agree on that, but at the same time, I think that like getting to know like the tips and tricks that are put into the music to have it give you the effect. You okay? Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Did something happen to the stream? Um. Okay. Did did something happen? Okay. It got maybe stuck. Yeah, it was the cough. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Yeah, no, I'm sick. I'm sick. So like, yeah, yeah. Don't worry about it. Okay. Okay, yeah, cause like I've been having like certain issues with stream. I'm not even sure if Twitch is working right now. I can't see the stream, so
Translating a lot of what is heard into how it makes the listener feel, I think, is the most sort of accessible way to pass those lessons down.
Oh yes, but I
So
think
maybe
about
I will,
not
if there's
dumbing
like
things
stuff that I can
down,
do
you know.
from memory, as far as the harmonic content goes, maybe I will go into it just a little bit, but overall, I'm just going to be doing this by feel. So with that said, we are going to start from the beginning. We're going to have a lot of music to get through, so I expect to be
Indeed.
live for quite a while. We're going to start with the intro.
1 hour and 40 fucking minutes.
This is where the Requiem Mass begins. It's very quiet. Hopefully you can hear that. I am also going to turn it down so that it doesn't overpower my voice too much at any point.
Man. I absolutely
Those are like
fucking
woodwinds at the
love
top,
this.
I think.
Yeah. I absolutely fucking love this.
And it's just so beautiful how it just like slowly fades in like this.
Yes. I really love this Requiem. I've heard it so many times. Like back to back.
And then we're hit with the brass here and the strings. They're the basses and tenors. So I'm pausing here because something I love about this movement and like why it is one of my favorites in the entire Requiem, even though it's like just the first one. It's the first movement, and it very effectively sets the stage for what is to come.
Yeah.
So,
even
if I go
like
to YouTube real quick, I'm gonna pull up like
the little theme
Sonata in C.
Okay.
He
even like uses like he presents the theme that he's gonna be using and developing throughout the entire thing. It's a master class in beginning, just a set of pieces.
Because this is like what you would normally associate with Mozart, right? This is Mozart's Piano Sonata number 16 in C.
Dun, dun.
Right?
I think maybe I'm spazzing. I'm just enjoying.
So that's normally what you would like associate with Mozart, right? You would not associate something with this much. I mean, the Requiem, the entire Requiem is in D minor, so.
Well, yeah, I'm having to like. Actually, fun fact: I just came from a violin exam, and I had to play like the entirety of Mozart's sonata for violin and piano in E minor. So, yeah, no, Mozart can make some really powerful stuff. Especially, I mean, he goes into a minor key. Like minor key Mozart is just another fucking level.
D minor also is historically known as one of the keys with like the most gravitas, the most weight to it.
I just
You would
know
not
it's
normally associate something this dark and with this much weight to it with Mozart, but that's what I think is part of what makes this this funeral mass so brilliant, is that even though it was written by you know, a composer who's mainly known for that type of more that type of brighter sound,
Heine music.
He could absolutely go to darker places when
When
the
you wanted
situation
to.
called for it.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
the way this first movement in the Requiem begins. Oops, that's the wrong.
That
wrong
is
audio
indeed
source
the wrong tab.
Here it is. Okay, there's a little bit of that. I think there's like a Picardy third there, so it gives a little bit of that lift, but this whole thing, this whole
beautiful.
ensemble with like the choir and the strings, it's just so like dark and dreary, and it perfectly sets the stage for the mass going forward. The message it conveys just immediately when you listen, even if you don't understand any of the Latin in the singing, or you don't, you know, you're not picking apart the harmony or anything like that. At its core, what this movement is signaling to you is someone is dead.
Wasn't the D minor thing a quote from Spinal Tap? I am not sure. Probably because I don't know what Spinal Tap is. Sorry.
Someone has died and is dead. That is what.
Someone has died and is dead. Wow, really?
It's like what this movement tells me when you just go into it and you just listen to it.
But then you like the "It looks perpetual." And it's just beautiful.
Like, even when the choir gets loud here and there's like tons of homophony, it doesn't sound like you would expect in like, you know, a typical mass or something like that. Even at its loudest, it doesn't really sound triumphant. It sounds more just like...
Well, I mean, it did sound a little bit triumphant. Precisely because of the lyrics. It looks perpetual. And eternal light, you know, which is, you know, part of the whole belief of, like, you know, heaven. Especially because, yeah, you know, especially, like, the entire rest of the, of the Requiem is going to use, what is essentially a poem, you know, which talks about, you know, the whole, you know, apocalypse part of the whole religion. So it's gonna get there in the music as well. She's cheating, reading the chat. What do you mean I'm cheating? A fake rock band documentary? What? Made for comedy. What? Is there something I'm not getting?
And then this solo comes in. I don't have all the choral ranges down like the back of my hand, but I'm pretty sure this is the... I mean, this could be the soprano because there's a lot of overlap, but I'm pretty sure that's the alto, just because of that sort of deeper resonance in her voice.
I actually don't know. I wonder if I should, like, pull up the music.
And if we're talking like and if we're talking about this being music for
Also,
like
yeah,
a
that's how I'm
funeral
gonna
for
fucking avoid
an
copyright. I'm just
aristocrat
gonna sing
or somebody
over
who
it.
is just generally somebody who is very important. Translating this over to like a modern day image, if this is like a huge gathering where somebody very important has passed away, you can almost see as the music plays.
Spinal Tap is the band from a fake documentary where the D minor quote comes from. Okay, I didn't know that. You know, like, here's the thing, there's people who are always like, I've had so many teachers whom, like, I've told, hey, yeah, so, like, fun fact, C minor is my favorite key, especially I love C minor harmonic, which is great. And they always, and I've had teachers who've told me, like, well, they all sound the same. I don't think so. I don't think they all sound the same. Otherwise, I feel like we would just use one. My personal humble opinion, don't believe that all the keys, sound the same. I understand. I understand. Oh, that's she music? Let's go! Fuck yeah. Actually, yeah, let's like answer, let's answer, as it said, they're definitely different, but it's all personal taste. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Um, Let me see. No, that's the key. No, it was the soprano. Pretty sure that's the, yeah, it was the soprano. Sorry, Snake. You got it wrong. Ha ha. Exposed.
Like if there's going to be a stage where, people will give their epitaphs and so on, you can almost hear this music sort of painting the picture of the casket carrying the recently fallen out.
Yeah, it's very somber in that aspect.
The procession, that's what it's called. I forgot the word for a moment there. When that full orchestra comes in with the entire choral ensemble, that's
epic
like
music reaction, indeed.
That's like part of when I envision the procession is happening. And the introit, the name of the movement, the introit, translates to entrance as well. So it's also thematically fitting in that regard.
Oh, yes. So, they don't put the names.
Yeah, and just listen to that, like, I want to say it's like almost contrapuntal movement.
Oh man. Oh man. That is such a fucking end. I love this type of Mozart just knows how to finish shit, even if it's sometimes complicated to like play. I should know, but like Mozart just he just knows. He just knows. Oh,
Okay, so
he
we've
just
moved on to the next
okay.
song. But like listen to that ending as well. The introit does not. Okay, I did not realize this on
I am
like
not a
when I
singer, but
wasn't
you're gonna have to
actively
deal with it.
when I was like passively listening. If you listen to the very end, that either ends on a Picardy third or a half cadence because in the soprano line especially, that note, it feels like it should be pulled just a half step up. So it I think it I want to say the movement ends on a Picardy third because that just gives a better sense of closure, but there's still this tension that like something's not quite right.
There's E, there's C, there's
and it doesn't feel fully resolved.
A, there's
So the best way I can explain that is that like
C, B, A.
you know, ending a song, if you write a song in a minor key and you end it on a Picardy third, which is like this major chord, it doesn't always have to have this lift to it.
Yeah,
you know, the major lift that you would associate it with normally. And we'll see this demonstrated. I can explain this in a lot more depth when it's demonstrated in Lacrimosa, which will be much later. But it's the way it ends is still very like unfinished, and it leaves room for at least to me, it feels very unfinished. Even though
yeah, no, it leads perfectly into the key. Despite the fact that I don't think I don't know if he already planned to have it next, but either way, it just fits perfectly. Just fits perfectly because you have the end there, and then you get here with like I think it's it's the low voices or is it all of them? Yeah, it's the freaking basses with key. It's just great because like the bass, you're gonna see it when we get there, but the bass is just coming full.
Sussmayr was the one to finish it, but it's in the sense that it leaves room for further development as we continue on into the next movement, which is the Kyrie.
Yeah.
And immediately you can hear sort of immediately there's like all this counterpoint. You can hear the different parts, like you can hear the different melodic lines between the different parts.
You can.
This movement's fairly short, so there's not much to talk about. We might just go all the way through it, but
the movement is great.
Oh my goodness. And being able to sing like those strings of notes sort of going around.
This recording go a little too slow for my taste because I have a very specific recording that I really like and goes much faster.
On that fast, even when it's stepwise movement, being able to hit that so perfectly, it takes ridiculous amounts of practice. And you have to just drill that song into memory and make sure it's right. You need to have a good conductor with you who can tell you you're screwing that up. For me, myself, I know that if I were to try like bass part, I would have to slow it down and graduate up to speed. Conductor listening to me as I try to perform it, so then I can make sure
Does Nate play the cello
as I'm hearing it myself
or something? Or was he talking about
But there's
bass
that
voices?
like little melodic figure where it sort of walks up and down a part of the scale. Hear that being repeated across the different parts, and that's why I say this is a sort of Baroque style counterpoint.
I already.
And then you heard a bit of it in the tenor.
I already got lost in the sheet music.
And this well out of the Baroque period as well. So
well,
the traditions of counterpoint and all that.
Well, yes, but like composers, and copy composers. So you had Bach with Vivaldi, and Mozart definitely Bach. So it makes sense, especially because I'm sure, because Mozart did study counterpoint, and that whole schmuck is very, very famous for. So
when composers like Scarlatti, CPE Bach were starting to gain influence during the Baroque to the classical period, they wanted to leave all these complexities of mind.
Well, yes, that was sort of one of classicism.
And, more accessible to, I don't know if this is, but...
Why is she so excited, though? What talking about? What are you talking?
It's more digestible where you think about it all the time.
I think it's digestible. He's just a rock star. My man had a very foul sense of yes. Yeah.
And Joach was very much not fond of that because of, his own insight he invested into his craft.
Yeah.
But that's why when we think of classical music, we think so often of Mozart. And like Beethoven is second behind. But the way Mozart and Sussmayr approach this, and Mozart wasn't like completely washed as a composer either. He understood the tradition.
Yes.
The tradition that Bach laid during the Baroque period, but that this entire contrapuntal, I would need to look at the fits actually like strictly following all of the rules of counterpoint. Fragments of the main melody are repeated across different in the ensemble, and the way you hear it again and again, it's very much in the tradition of counterpoint. Oh man, and that chord. And there's that big authentic. I authenticated, especially in the modern, where much of modern music today is modal harmony, where we
these guys
mainly the Ionian and Aeolian modes instead of the major. And the main, one of my professors asked me this, and about the difference between tonal and what the difference between, in particular, Aeolian mode and the minor key is. And what he told me, and what he told the class was, when we were like having trouble, hello, Abidza man, yes, I am listening to Mozart and nerding out over how the music is written to make. And right now I'm going off on a tangent about cadences because of the way the Kyrie movement ends. So the way my professor explained to the class about the difference between the Aeolian, which is what a lot of modern music operates in, and the minor key is between the tonic and the dominant. In the Aeolian, relationship between the first and fifth scale degree, very sort of open-ended. And when you chord in the Aeolian mode, it can go to anything from there. And also it's a minor chord, which typically doesn't the traditions of functional harmony.
Yeah.
Minor key, when you're talking thinking in terms of tonal and functional harmony, chord in the scale almost always goes to either the first chord, so it's a 5-1, 5-6, which is the deceptive cadence. Yeah. And when you go from the 5 chord, That's an authentic cadence, and it is modern music. I mean, it's the backbone of classics. So underrated for
The
modern
fifth,
music, which is why
fifth creates, that pull towards some form. So going back home to the tonic is just, you cannot build resolution more simply than 5-1.
pieces I make for
Don't
stability
forget
music, I write it.
pentatonic. Obviously, I don't forget pentatonic. Speaking of pentatonic, I recommend you guys listen Tricky Finger, written by me. You can find in my YouTube channel. Go listen to it. We'll shoot you. Rachmaninoff better. I really, really some pieces by Rachmaninoff. I absolutely fucking love the second movement, number 2. It's just amazing. It's so simple but so beautiful to me. And I also like his D minor. Yes, you have to deal with my bad singing. Fuck you.
Use it all the freaking time. But I don't know. There's the way it going with especially if it goes from a 5/7 to 1. I have extended chords by ear, but after all of this almost journey that the song takes us on for 2.5, where there are fragments of this iterated through and all these walks up and down the scale, and it all starts to come to a head here. Hit this like I think this is a diminished chord. It resolves. There's a 5, and it's like the big finish. It's gosh, I could talk all day.
F?
You know what? We'll go on a tangent again.
B.
I'm getting more of my music nerd stuff. Like it to the late Romantic period when Liszt was in his prime. It's a foundational concept that composers like well after the Baroque period, and it was period at the turn of the 20th century when we started to sort of see modal with composers like Debussy, and I don't know too much about Shostakovich. Mainly wrote in like sort of a mix, because there's some moments in music where you can very clearly hear a tonal resolution. But at the very end of the Lausanne movement,
what happened there?
The Lausanne chapter in Rhapsody number 2. Hopefully everyone knows this piece, because like if you grew up watching
I did not.
But like at the very end of the Lausanne Rhapsody number 2, this authentic cadence shows up again. So here, this is C sharp major, G sharp minor 7, C sharp major over G sharp, G sharp minor 7.
Sheet music plus jump scare, yeah. I was like, what?
That's a perfect 5/1.
Obviously.
I don't know. I just like, I think that's still like one of the most beautiful chord changes in all. I think that's just one of the most beautiful chord changes of 12-tone equal temperament. So that tangent about this huge 5/1 at the end.
Cool.
Like make a short video about that at some point too. Whatever. But we're moving into the third part, and this is one of my favorites in the entire Requiem. It's also one of the most well-known, but it's for good reason. Okay. Ire. Dies irae, dies irae. This translates, the title of this movement translates from Latin to
yes,
and you can immediately hear that.
It's the apocalypse.
Just like in the very when this movement kicks off. It's only.
But like, here's the thing. Like, here, if you look at what Mozart left compared to the final Sussmayr's version, and because Mozart's version has the essence, but Sussmayr got it like punch. He gave it the big bombastic punch that it has from like the get go.
2 minutes long, but oh my god, it's imagine like if you're beginning to experience classical music for the first time, that will be 2 minutes of your life. Because if you just listen to this, if you just like this song just sounds like a fucking. That's the best way I can describe it. Or this movement. I should be calling these movements, not songs. They're
not songs.
Form a continuous arc throughout.
I mean, because it's sung. So, okay, you win that one. As a true Mozart fan, I just love good music. Just as with any composers, like, if you make good, like, here's the thing, very funny, is that people think that I only like classical music, just very, like, that's not it at all. I just, okay? And if I don't like it, it's not good. You shouldn't listen to it. God.
This entire piece, but... And I think too. Lots of half steps in this part, which just builds up all this tension.
Here comes my favorite part. Here comes my, like, oh my god.
We have a bit of a sort of canonical structure there. Part begins the melody and the other begins it a bit late.
That whole I actually accidentally grabbed the original Mozart. See, there's nothing. There is nothing. Like, art's completely gone, and you don't see no part. Like, that was Sussmayr's work. That was he did so much fucking work. Like, he did credit, you know. For okay, I just realized I grabbed Mozart's fragments. Do I make good music? Yeah, you make good music. I'll go. Can I find it? Preferably one that doesn't force me to like have to like very weird looking.
Man, this is one of my favorite movements. I mean,
it's really impactful.
I don't know what I already said. Like the Day of Wrath, you're supposed
to
imagine. No, because
the true music critic.
You know, last year when the rapture was gonna happen because some said it would.
What?
I mean, this in to the knowledge I have of like biblicals. Obviously, for much of the Western classical tradition, religion was a huge
there's
influence of
the
this music.
life.
Bach was like spent much of as like a devout disciple, and was in the Lord's name.
Sadly, he was Protestant.
But wrath is like, why was I talking about? Oh yeah, because last year we were all thinking, oh, the rapture is gonna happen because some nutcase from somewhere said on TikTok that it was going to happen today.
When did I have?
I have my own perspective, you know, religion and especially organized religion that I'll delve into, or maybe in like a later discussion far down the line. All
Did I
that is to
get
say,
killed?
like, this is basically like an envisioning of what the rapture would be like. When, or maybe not the rapture actually, because I think the rapture and are different events that are like, but also not.
No.
So sorry, I
No,
misspoke.
the whole
I meant to
is
invoke
the
imagery of
apocalypse.
Armageddon, where it rains from the sky and destroys everything, and everybody fucking dies. So if you imagine Armageddon as plays, it's like it's the day that humanity's wrath,
Yep.
and he unleashes Armageddon. So
Very fun.
That's another one of the reasons why this is one of my favorite Requiem, because I think for what it does in its own chapter, it just captures that so absurdly well. Also sounding like a fucking boss in like, I don't know, Genshin Impact.
Well,
I
mean, if you think about it, it is technically a boss fight.
Something like that. I legit listen to this song sometimes when I'm playing Friends. It's that good.
But on the train.
Next part, we are going to listen to.
Okay, I've fixing the I've tried lowering, so it should theoretically get